Welcome back to a new video. This video will be doing something different. And into this video is going to be done something else. So I think I really like to do these kind of videos sometimes. So in this video is going to be we'll be doing is mathematical anti-Platonism. It's kind of where I left off, and this time I'm not going to be lazy, so I can do it at the second part of this video. But I think we can now kind of start this video off, and any more kind of talking will be going on to what we're going to be talking about. So let's start this video. So many philosophers cannot bring themselves to believe in abstract objects. However, there are not many tenable alternatives to mathematical Platonism. One option is to maintain that there do exist such things as numbers and sets, and that mathematical theorems provide the true thing of what it means, while denying that these things are abstract. Views of this kind can be called realistic versions, or you could say an anti-Platonist view. Like Platonism, there are still versions of mathematical realism, because they maintain that mathematical theorems provide the true description of some part of the world. In contrast to these versions of anti-Platonism, there is also the anti-realist version or view, known as the mathematical nominalism. This view rejects the belief in the existence of numbers, sets, and so on, and also rejects the belief that mathematical theorems provide the true thing they want to say in the part of the world. The two main alternatives to Platonism is realistic Platonism and nominalism. That there are alternatives and described more fully in the following, other versions. So the other versions we'll be talking about is the realistic anti-Platonist view, and it's namely more into physicalism and psychologism. So psychologism is the view that mathematical theorems are about a concrete mental objects of some sort. In this view, numbers and circles and so on do exist, but do not exist independently of people. Instead, they are concrete mental objects. Like ideas in people's head would be psychologism, and the serious problems is no longer endorsed by many philosophers, but some philosophers like Edmund Husserl, German philosopher, he kind of used the most, he was prominent in using this and endorsed this view. Though physicalism, on the other hand, is more viewed that mathematics is about concrete physical objects of some sort, and advocates of this view agrees with Platonists that there exist such things as numbers and sets, and unlike adherents of psychologism, they are also agreed that these things exist independently of people and their thoughts. Physicalists differ from Platonists, however, in holding that mathematics is about ordinary physical objects. There are a few different versions of this view, like one would be hold that geometric objects, such things like circles, regions of actual physical space. Similarly, sets might be claimed to be piles of actual physical objects. Thus, a set of eggs would be nothing more than the aggregate of physical matter that makes up the eggs. Moving on to numbers, one strategy is to make them to be physical properties of some sort, in properties piles of physical objects. So, for instance, the number 3 might be a property of a pile of 3 eggs. It should be noted, some have endorsed this more Platonistic view. In particular, Plato taught, to in addition to all the red things, he looked inside the world, or looked at the world. There exists an independent property of redness, and that property was just an abstract object. Aristotle, on the other hand, thought the properties exist in the physical world. Thus, this view, redness exists in particular objects, such as red houses and red apples, rather than as an abstract object outside of space and time. So, in order to motivate physicalistic view of maths by saying that numbers are properties or mentioning that numbers are a part of a property. One would also have to argue for an Aristotelian or physicalistic view. Some might be influenced by that view. But another strategy for interpreting talk of numbers to be about the physical world is to interpret it as talk about actual piles of physical objects rather than properties of such piles. Example might be maintain the sentence of 2 plus 3 equals 5. And I'm not talking about the song that Radiohead have. It says that whenever a pile of 2 objects is put together with a pile of 3 objects, the result is a pile of 5 objects. And that is talking about realistic anti-Platonism. But then we got nominalism. Nominalism is a view that mathematical objects such as numbers and sets and circles do not really exist. Nominalists do not admit that such things, as 3 eggs and the ideas of the number 3, in a person's head, that they do not think that any of these things is the number 3. Of course, when nominalists deny the number 3 is a physical or mental object, that they are agreement with the Platonists. They admit that if there were any such thing as the number 3, that it would be an abstract object. But unlike mathematical Platonists, they do not believe in abstract objects, and so they do not believe in numbers. There are 3 different versions of mathematical nominalism: paraphrase nominalism, fictionalism, and there's also another called neo-nonism. The paraphrase nominalist view can be elucidated by returning to the sentence 4 is even. Paraphrase nominalists agree with Platonists that if this sentence is interpreted at a face value, example, saying object 4 or figure 4 has the property of being even, the same way we use 8 there too, then it makes a straightforward claim about the abstract object. However, paraphrase nominalists do not think that ordinary mathematical sentences such as 4 is even or 8 is even should be interpreted in a face value way. They think that these sentences really say is different from what they seem to say on the surface. More specifically, paraphrase nominalists then think that these claims do not make straightforward claims about objects. There are several different versions of paraphrase nominalism, and of which is best known is deductivism, according to the view that sentences 8 is even can be paraphrased by the sentence. If there were such things as numbers, then the 8 would be even, but I think we already talked about it with the view of Platonist views. In this view, if there are no such things as numbers, the sentence 8 is even is still true, for of course, even if there's no such things as the number 4, it would be still even. So deductivism rooted by a German mathematician, and it was obviously paraphrased in other versions by other philosophers. But we're not going to talk about those philosophers because it's not we're focused by, I think, at this point, right? I think what we're going to be talking about is mathematical fictionalists, and they agree with paraphrase nominalists, and there are no such things as abstract objects, and hence no such thing as numbers. And they think that paraphrase nominalists, they're not, what they say is not really in a way that's correct, or it's not really the right. Their claims are not about, let's say, mathematical sentence such as 8 is even really mean. They don't know. They couldn't be right, or they could be mistaken by. Though fictionalists think that Platonists are right with these sentences should be read at face value, and they think that it could be still 8 is even should be still be said what it seems, though, namely that the number 8 has the property of being even. Moreover, fictionists also agree with Platonists that if there really were such things, number 8, then it would be just an abstract object or figure. But then again, we already learned about that. But again, fictionists they do not believe that there are such things as the number 8, and they maintain that sentences like 8 is even are not literally true. We could even go with like Boolean true or false, but that's just another different thing where we're heading. That's more involved with a lot with computer science and true or false and and 0 and 1s, but binary numbers. But we're not gonna go involved with those yet. So fictionists think that sentences just 8 is even they think they're analogous in a certain way to sentences like, let's say, Santa Claus lives in Lapland, or Rudolph the reindeer lives with Santa Claus, or the Grinch exists to destroy Christmas, or so on. They're not really truly true descriptions of the world, but they're true in its certain story, or certain story that accommodates that fiction. Thus, according to fictionalism, arithmetic is something like a story that involves some sort of fiction or pretense to the effect that there are such things as numbers. Given this pretense, the theory says that what numbers are like are what they would be like if they existed. Fictionists then argue that it is not a bad thing that mathematical sentences are not literally true. Mathematics is supposed to be literally true. Say that fictionists, and they have a long explanation of why maths is pragmatic. It uses it in a pragmatic way. And it's intellectually interesting, despite the fact that it's not literally true. Fictionalism, it was proposed by a lot of different philosophers throughout 6 years, and we're gonna end up with neo-nonism, and it's done. It derives from Alexis Meinong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name. I think it's Meinong. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it's he's an Austrian, so it's in German. But mine and Ong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm wrong, excuse me. Endorsed a view that was supposed to be distinct from the Platonism, but most philosophers now agree that, in fact, according to Platonism in particular, Meinong held that there are such things as abstract objects, but that these things do not have full-blown existence. Philosophers has responded claims by making a pair of related points. First, since Meinong taught there are such things as numbers, and since he taught that these things are non-spatio-temporal, it followed that he was a Platonist. But I don't think I'll need to, give why he was a Platonist and why he's not. But the really reason is that, he's contradictory to say that numbers are but do not exist. But he advocating and agreeing with Platonists, neo-Meinongism, and fictionalists, and nonism, really. Fictionalists, that this sentence 8 is even should be interpreted at a face value as making, a straightforward claim about a certain object, namely that number 4, moreover, they also agreed that if there were such things as the number 4, then it would just be an abstract object. Finally, they agree with fictionalists that there's no such things as abstract objects. In spite of this, nonism claims 8 is just true. So they maintain the one that we said the object. Well, we said S, I think last time. I don't know what we said exactly. But the object O is the property of P, and can be literally true if there is no such thing as the object O. Thus, nonism consists of the following. Trio claims mathematical sentences should be read at face value as purporting to make claims about mathematical objects such as numbers. There are no such things as mathematical objects, and yet mathematical sentences are literally true. Though in this, there's many forms of described. Though this is just in sum that there's literally a couple, let's say I think there's 5 different alternatives to Platonism, and it does not want to claim that mathematics is just about physical. It does not want to claim that mathematics is about non-physical, non-mental, and non-spatio-temporal objects. There's different 5 that we just named. And we're not gonna, we already talked about them, so we're not gonna, fully engage, because I think we're gonna do another part of this think this could be like a decent series. But yeah, I think this is probably gonna end it. So I think, guys, see you later, guys and girls, and not to mention, and anyone who's watching this video, whoever you may be. See you in the next video. Peace.